So this is basically has just come out. I want to talk. Well, I'm not talking that AFL regular season isn't done, but we're talking like teams that are going to be back for next season. There's going to be a whole bunch of teams. Texas A&M's coming in, and they're going to be coached by Jack. Clemson's back, led by Huddy, which is going to be good news. Invictus and Mike are going to go ahead and coach Duke. Boise State's going to be coached by Lucky. And there's pretty much some surprise picks. But yeah. Overall North Carolina's back for this year. They're going to be coached by Ski and Eagle. And this one wasn't really surprising, but last year they became pretty much the season 3 Tar Heels basically came down for one thing: 10-0 with their starters in scrimmages. Well, actually, it was more like 10-0 with their starters. Pretty much at all. So that's basically kind of it. And then, of course, I can't say here that basically we're also going to be seeing some guys go ahead and come back. Some former teams from this season, they're going to be coming back. Same rebrand, same coach. Just might be different players. As that's going to be Louisville. Penn State's coming back with Kayaks. Spud's going to be moving to be coached by UCLA. Mercy, who's been a really successful head coach so far in his career, he's going to go ahead and coach Missouri. So he's looking to go ahead and find a QB. Finley's going to be coaching Georgia. And also, we're also going to be seeing a surprise return as
of course Rob understands.
As one of last year's best coaches, if I'm being honest, could have won Coach of the Year. In fact, I'm pretty sure he did win Coach of the Year. Albert Moranzo, he's back, and he's going to be coaching the same team. He's going to be coaching Tennessee again. He's just got to go ahead and figure out different players. And, well, yeah. Basically, the ACFL regular season's over. So far, and the bowl games and championships are already done. So we're gonna go ahead and talk about those also in this video. So basically, when one of the bowl games, so pretty much for that first, so one of the games that happened was basically, well, we basically had the Tostito Bowl, and that was basically Stanford, which was led by Huddy, taking on Nebraska, which is my team. And the game was back and forth. And it was more of a defensive effort than it was any offensive effort. Nebraska did blow a lead, but luckily, Julian Elligo, who's basically was pretty much the top defensive lineman in college football this season, as he has won the year, went ahead, kicked the game-winning field goal, and then Nebraska also gets a safety to go ahead and escape with the 29-24 win. Well, the next game came up, and that was basically Zedecardi Ramsey taking on Heisman Trophy winner and quarterback of the year, be Lucky. And Lucky balled out. Like, as the former USF QB, went ahead and led his team to a 40-22 slaughter of the Ducks. Well, the Milk Bowl came up next with Miami versus Clemson, and of course, Tennessee was going to take on LSU. Tennessee lost on a Hail Mary interception, 26-20, and the Milk squad, aka Miami, they went ahead and took a hard out to the Clemson Tigers, 36-22. Well, now it was on to the championship rounds, which is the Big Ten championship, which was the top seeded Maryland Terrapins, and taking on Nebraska. The offensive line for Nebraska didn't show up. There wasn't really much communication going around, and the Maryland DEs basically were basically on. Heck, even the guy that doesn't really see snaps in the game, doesn't really see passes, he went ahead and broke out in the form of Long Live Mojo. Mojo went ahead and eventually had over 150 yards receiving, and but the damage had already been done, as it turned out to be what was a very crazy game as Maryland pulled out with the 54-24 win. And then goes on to the SEC championship, which was LSU taking on comeback player of the year Sacred Donner and Mercy in the Arizona State Sun Devils. A back and forth game. It turned out that there had to be a winner, but it wasn't going to be the highly favored Arizona State, as they went ahead and lost 37-24. UCF went ahead and basically went ahead and took on Clemson, and people were expecting UCF to win. I was expecting UCF to win too. Basically, they went ahead and crushed Clemson 44-24. It was a good game to see. It was a good game. And then came a surprise. And then came pretty much the Big 12 championship, which had Val and Texas taking on Lucky and Baylor. Now, one of the rules that Reese made for the playoffs is that any NFL players, so you're only allowed to have one, like basically an NFL player, AFL level players, like the NFL level type, like since it's ACFL. So any AFL level players, they will have to go ahead and bench the game unless they're the quarterback. So Spud basically got knocked out. And, well, the pass protection protection showed that Spud actually played a pretty efficient part, as Texas got manhandled by Baylor 32-20. Those four teams that won in their conference championships, which was Maryland, LSU, UCF, and Baylor, they're going to be going ahead and moving on to the college football playoff. I mean, it was really surprising. I mean, but this playoff will be pretty good. They got bench of the year in Degato. You have wide receiver in the year in V Carter. Finley is gonna go is also in there as your head coach of the year. UCF, National Tony, and breakout And late breakout star SMH Gavin going ahead and coming into that game. Of course, Heisman Trophy winner, V Lucky, and defensive end of the year, Chanman. Let's also not forget that there was some. Let's also not forget that Max the Cat's in there as he won defensive back of the year with 7 interceptions. And tight end of the year, Michael the Immortal went ahead and is also going to be in there as well. Either way, it's pretty much going to be a really interesting show. But that's pretty much it. But there has been some updates. Is that Cars is trying to work on coming back, and well, for him, he'll need to go ahead and come in and have to go and to pretty much go all hands on deck. Because let's face it, like, this wasn't the best team you can work with. Like, basically, if anything, this is basically the team that you're gonna have to go ahead and take a lot of time to figure out and figure out who's who. And you gotta have to admit, it's pretty much gonna be a power struggle trying for these season 5 ACFL coaches to go ahead and figure out. I mean, there are some people that might come back just to go ahead and assistant coach, like me, as I plan to go ahead and move on to the NFL level. As I go ahead and I plan to play, as I'm trying to go ahead and enter AFL in season 10. Well, there's a whole lot of backlash because there's a whole lot of reasons because of that, but I'm not gonna really talk about them because it's gonna be a little bit uncomfortable if I do. Well, either way, it's going to go ahead and be a showdown. Overall, the matchups are going to have Maryland taking on LSU and UCF going ahead and taking on Baylor. Now, these are basically going to be some good games. Now, only one of them, I should say, because I really think that Maryland's going to go ahead and just sweep pretty much. I'm just going to go into what I should say. Basically, I think that it's going to be an easy sweep of that Maryland's going to have. It's going to be overall. I'm going to predict this game. It's going to be a Maryland win. My final score, I'm going to go ahead and say 60 to 26. Because that's basically kind of overall. I'm going to tell you this though. Basically, Finley's defensive backs and DEs know how to get the job done. I mean, for the linebacker of the year part, yes, TANLV did do pretty good, but linebackers aren't really one of the best things to work with. I can tell you that. So, and then for UCF taking on Baylor, this is basically this will be a fun matchup because this will basically have two of the league's top passers. In fact, both of them are each in the top 2 in passing yardage. They're going to go ahead and go head to head. And that game's going to be really interesting because UCF has SMH Gavin, who went ahead and broke out late year with the departure of Carter, as Carter went to Maryland. To be honest with you, I probably could have gone ahead and gone to Maryland as well, But I didn't call up, and I decided to just go ahead and I really wanted to go ahead and get back into the game kind of quickly. So, yeah. Either way, pretty much the real Noko, aka who is known in pretty much in ACFL. Pretty much, people call him Brady. The man, he's gonna be going ahead and he's gonna be in the playoff as he is the wide receiver 1 for V Lucky. In fact, overall, he pretty much makes up for a good chunk of the passing yardage that Lucky had. You didn't put up eye-dropping, pop. He didn't put, some really crazy numbers, but I really think that this game can turn out to be a back-and-forth game. I think it's going to be high-scoring to a point. There might be some defense there involved, but I'm going to go with that each team will score over 30 points. I'm not going to give a points spread thing I can confirm, but if I have to, I'm going to have to go ahead and say it's going to be a spread of 3 points. And in my W, I'm going to give it to Baylor because Lucky has basically he's made the play. Lucky basically has a good thing ahead of him. I mean, I'm not doubting Kali. Overall, UCF may have pretty much the better wide receiver core, and Lucky may have. Lucky's kind of more of a mobile QB. And okay, not Lucky, Tony, I should say. Anyway, Lucky and Brady, they're gonna go ahead. They're gonna help communicate each other more out. That's gonna go ahead and play key if they want to go ahead and get a win. Well, there's gonna be some people that are gonna be going ahead and join the league a little bit too early. People aren't expecting that much to. Such as myself, who people were expecting me to go ahead and stay down at the college level, but for me, I'm moving on up. So basically, I'm not gonna really. There's not really much updates to give you about the AFL draft. I can't confirm here that Lucky's going there. I know Val's going there. Most of the Nebraska team, they're going here. The only guys who are going to be staying back is going to be I'm trying to think about it. It was DeFadio, Zom, Papa Joke, and Julian Edelgelt. So, and that basically takes a good chunk. It's overall, Gutman's declaring for the draft. Overall, basically, there might be some guys that are going to go ahead and come back. So I have a feeling that, unless Julian goes ahead and carries on the Nebraska type dynasty, I really think that Nebraska probably will come back. But it's just a little bit of a position change with pretty much Julian pretty much being the head coach. They have the Fardio. You basically go ahead. Basically, 4 starters from this season will stay back. Five of them, including some backups such as Joel, despite being a backup, can kind of go ahead and has some play time. There's me, who hardly ever sees the field, and of course, there's also there's also going to be a few. There's also going to be a Astros, who basically was an ineffective blocker this season. He's moving out. So well, yeah. So that's all for today's video. And I'll go ahead and I'll see you next time. Saddle up, saddle out.